everybody. This is our June and final public meeting for the academic year. This is the UAE community and I am careers community, and I'm really excited to gather everyone together. Today brings Khaled Diab from Nefsi, who just dropped off the line, but he will be back in a minute. And while we're waiting for him to join us again, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce you all to him formally. Khaled Diab is an individual who had a mission, had a story, and decided to merge his personal story and his vision for creating something different in the world, and he brought it together on an e-commerce platform. And the reason I'm bringing Khaled to the UAE careers community this month is because not only is he an individual doing something that really is changing how we look at hunger in the world, but he is also very, very passionate on developing this platform and using himself as the educator, which is very rare when we look at organizations such as this one. We rarely see the human behind the service. And Khaled has made a real effort with Dubai English Speaking College over the last, how long has it been, Dino? 6 months, I think.
Since Feb. I
Since
forgot
February.
which month
So
we're
February.
in.
Yeah, I forgot what month we're in. We're in June. So about 4 months ago, I introduced Khaled to our students. But before that, it was kind of coming in and we were having these conversations about Khaled, and he came across my network because I was looking for a spotlight speaker professional, and his story was really, really inspiring. And so when he came in, what struck me the most was how he spoke to our students, and he was sharing his personal story about why he does what he does, and that's why I want to introduce him to you. But just before he joins again, I'm going to give him a call. While I do, I'm going to mute myself, and then maybe Dinu works with
Actually,
Khaled.
he's joining now. It was a small tech issue. He's trying to reconnect now.
Okay. While we're waiting for him to join, maybe Dinu, you could talk to us a little bit about Nefsi and your participation in the organization.
Okay, so overall, Nefsi, it's a new concept brought to the market and was launched back in 2019 in Dubai. One of the main things, actually, the core business of Nefsi is to help save hunger, to stop hunger. So we're focusing on SDG number 2. Now, there are a lot of platforms and ways for people to donate. There is a huge program, Share a Meal by United Nations. There are different other programs made by private companies, NGOs. How Nefsi started is Khaled found a way to make donation or food donations as a lifestyle. So there is in order to be able to donate every single day, it would be difficult for people to donate every single day, even if it's 1 dirham, 10 dirhams. Usually people prefer to donate in certain periods of the time, like Ramadan, Christmas, and so on. Khaled managed to find a way for people to donate every single day without paying anything extra. This is the interesting part. And how did we achieve this as Nefsi? We're focusing on food because people are eating every single day. Regardless if sometimes you will have lunch in the office, you will go out for a dinner or go out for a weekend. So Nefsi is a platform, as a concept, for every meal which you order from one of our partner restaurants with the app, 1 meal gets donated to a person in need. So we're partnered also with UAE Red Crescent, with UAE Islamic Affairs, and also UAE Food Bank. Well, I explained briefly the concept without going into details, so we don't jeopardize his presentation because he will get into more details.
So just before Khalid begins, I want to bring everyone up to date on what we've done at the college. So I don't just bring speakers to the community because, you know, it's a great thing to do. I bring them because I've worked with these speakers. So I know the value that they've brought to our institution, and I know the potential that you could be having at yours as well. When Khalid came the first time, he was a spotlight speaker, and you're all aware of what that is. He came, he spoke about his career journey, he talked about NEFSI, he answered any questions that students might have about e-commerce and the food industry. And following on from there, we then brought Khalid back and we talked to students about internships. And this is where Dinu stepped in, working with Khalid. We created opportunities for the students to do some internships. In fact, as we speak, I have 3 students working with NEFSI and Dinu and Khalid's team, and they're doing a variety of different things. They were really wonderful at helping me to create opportunities for our students. So they designed roles that would fit into what they needed at the organization, and also things that our students could be capable of doing. And together with Nefsi and Dino and Khalid, we created these opportunities for the students. So they're very, very flexible in making opportunities for your students. Of course, Nefsi is always at the core of what they're doing. So it's not about making opportunities to help students in isolation, but actually to bring them into the organization and let them see how things work. And what's great about working with Nefsi and your students is that the students are not just doing a project, they're actually seeing how it's going to be implemented into the organization. And then following on from the bigger cause of this platform, they start to feel more connected to the world. And this is always what I'm trying to be bringing to our youth, is the awareness of what they're doing in their careers that's having an impact on a positive impact on the world as well. And Khalid's going to talk to you more about what Nefsi is in relation to bringing that positive impact to the world. And then, of course, Khalid did a talk for our parents at Parent Information. We have a monthly parent information session for careers, and Khalid was our speaker for that as well. So it was wonderful to bring Khalid in and bring Dinu and Nefsi into the college, because they brought this whole, how do we merge the world of food, e-commerce, and a world cause and bring it together? And that was the topic. So I encourage you to walk away, and at the end of Khalid's session, I'm going to give you some key questions that I want you taking away with you to see how you can implement a speaker like this, or even Nefsi, into your institutions. And I need to make it clear, I do not work for Nefsi. I do not gain anything from my work with Nefsi. This is purely about connecting with organizations that make a positive impact in our community and in our world. And I really strongly stand behind the Nefsi concept and the man behind the brand as well. I think this is really a wonderful thing for us to be learning about. So without further ado, sorry that was a little longer than I expected, but Khalid, welcome to the platform, and let's take it from there.
Thank you so much for hosting us again, and also for the great introduction, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today with us. Just a small introduction about NFC. We always hear saving the world. This statement is used in lots of topics, lots of companies, but saving the world will need from you, once you hear this word, it will pop up in your mind that you need to dedicate time, dedicate some money, and also you need to give efforts to do something. So what NIFSI is trying to do is trying to save the world by you eating your own food without any extra cost. So whatever you eat every day, you just eat as is and pay the same what you are paying, but you are saving the world, because we are implementing a very simple concept: eat and feed. So every time you order from your restaurant your favorite meal, another full meal will be given to a hungry person worldwide without you paying any extra or even paying for the second meal. So that's in a nutshell what Nifsi is.
Thank you, Khaled. Talk to us a little bit about why you created Nefsi. Like, why was this important to you?
Because lots of things happen in my life, and you said in the last interview, you said it right. It was like receiving a call, and it depends on who answers the call. So lots of things happened in my life till last year when I was I was here in Dubai, and I was in a very luxurious dinner, which lots of VIPs was there, and we ate like 9 courses, but every course was like 1 spoonful of food, which ends by paying a huge amount of money, but everyone is still hungry. So every one of us ran to different restaurants to eat. And then I went to one of the fast food chains and got a 12 dirhams sandwich. Holding the sandwich happily, going out from the restaurant, and all of a sudden I found a guy who was holding my hand and telling me, "Sir, I want to eat." So as everyone will do, I just pulled 20 dirhams and gave it to him. So he told me, "Sir, I don't need your money. I just want to eat," with tears in his eyes. So I couldn't do anything except giving him my sandwich. Turning back to get another sandwich for me, I was a little bit curious if he's doing the same with every single one or he's really hungry. And then when I looked back at him, I found that he's eating the sandwich without removing the paper wrap. He was not hungry. He was starving for a couple of days, which made me start to think about it in a different way. What I just paid in the useless dinner, fancy dinner I had, I can feed a village. That's one. Second, the hungers, you don't need donations, you don't need money, they just want to eat. So what we can do in order to feed them in a daily, but without paying or giving time. So as a start, I start to, every time I will eat in any restaurant, I will order the same food I am eating, and then I will give it to someone in need. After a couple of months trying this, I found that first of all, before COVID-19, of course, in Dubai, there is zero hunger. I cannot find the same guy I met in front of that restaurant. Second, it's very costly on me. I have to pay double the price. And then I spent almost 1 year to try to find any solution, how to donate without donation, how to give back without giving time, without paying money. And then all of a sudden, I got the idea after reading lots of statistics about hunger that we can just order our own food from Nifsi, from the restaurant I like, from the same meal I eat every day, but another full meal will be given to a hungry person without me paying anything. So we kickstart last September, and we have hundreds of restaurants, thousands of deals on the app. And so far we reached more than 50,000 meals given to hunger worldwide, which is just a start, because if you read about hunger worldwide, there is more than 9 million people die every year because of hunger. Almost someone die every 3.6 seconds. So yeah, that was the story behind it and why we started Nifsi.
So Khalid, I remember when we did the interview, I said to you, I think in life, sometimes we're all, what you experienced with this individual. I do believe most of us have experiences similar to that, if not, the same. I want to know what made you answer the call? What made you make a change?
Maybe it goes back when I was in my early age, where when I was born, my father was an, I cannot say that he was very rich, but we were in a very, very, very good financial position, and he has huge portfolio of business. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, when I was 7 years, he started to lose his business one after the other, and I start to pass by a very bad time. So from a spoiled kid who can get whatever he wants, even without asking, I will get whatever I want, to a kid who cannot even find a meal every day. So I know what is the meaning of hunger. I know how to feel starving, how painful it is. So it just remind me of these days. So I said, no, I have to do something. I cannot just see it and ignore it. I cannot.
So for an individual like me hearing this story, I think there's no coincidence in the experience that you had. It almost sounds to me like it was your natural rite of passage to pay attention to this individual and be reminded of an event that you had in your own life and helped you to connect the dots. So what would you suggest for any of us who work with the youth in helping them connect the dots between their life story and a potential career path?
What I believe that we have to have a mission in our life. So we need to let them grow up with the same principle that we are here to have a cause, a mission in our life. It doesn't mean to have to be in the same direction of Nifsi, which is helping each other, but we have to have a mission in our life, and we have to achieve this mission, because our life means time. We just have time from the day we are born till. So during this period, which we don't know when it's going to end, we need to achieve what we are created for. So we need to find within ourselves what's our mission and why we have to achieve it and how to achieve it.
So I know, and from the story, you said that it was a fateful night after a really glamorous meal where you had still felt that you didn't eat enough and you went out to get a meal after this really expensive, glamorous corporate dinner. You were obviously working in a reputable organization, earning a good income. What made you flip the switch and take the leap? Because I know with young people, they think that the luxurious organizations with the luxurious benefits of dinners and travel and expensive cars and expensive connections, they sometimes think that that is what success looks like. But you decided to flip it. You decided to leave all that behind and start Nefsi. Why?
Because of two things. First, I believe that whatever success I made in life, because when I was a kid, I faced lots of challenges. So the hunger behind it made me achieve what I wanted to achieve. That's one. Second, just think about it. If you are eating a sandwich for 12 dirhams, like what I was eating, or you are eating a fancy meal for 500 dirhams, which one will give you more pleasure? But compare it to giving 50 meals to 50 people who really need to eat and they don't have access to food, seeing all their smiley faces looking at you. Which one will give you more pleasure?
Okay, so I'm hearing the humanitarian cause behind it was your driving factor. It was just really, it sounds to me like that was just so much more self-intrinsic motivation to want to do better and be better because you believed in the cause. So really connecting the dots between the cause would drive the youth. Now, my question to you, Nefsi, is it's an e-commerce, sorry, to Khaled, it's an e-commerce it's an e-commerce, you know, service. Talk to us a little bit about how we can be preparing young people to go and to be part of that kind of environment.
Nifty environment or the online environment?
Well, I think they're kind of the same, aren't they? So everything is online right now, and Nefsi is an app, isn't it? It's an e-commerce app.
I don't think you need to prepare them because they are more advanced than all of us. They are more connected online than our generation, and they live, eat, and drink online. And not only that, but like we still think that maybe some of us still think that online is not safe, or online I have to try something before I buy it, or I have to check the information before I believe in it. But the new generation is really more alerted and more advanced and online, and they know quite well that their future is totally online. And I believe it's going to change very soon. It's not whatever online business we are doing right now, it's going to be just old-fashioned in the next maybe a decade. So I don't think we need to guide them because they are living online. My daughter is 11 years old, and she found an app in USA, and she got her own clothes and gifts and toys. And me myself, if I search online, I cannot get what she got with the same price and quality.
So what you're saying is they're already prepared. It's more us being open to and to supporting them through that. So I know that Nefsi, I mean, the big cause is to help world hunger, but the smaller cause is to feed the customer as well. You're a food app. Talk to us about how the food industry has responded to Nefsi.
Okay, and Nifty is an app connecting the restaurants and as well the customers. And then as a result of the transactions, we are feeding the hunger. So maybe at the beginning, it was a little bit difficult to sign or onboard the restaurants because they are saying, wow, it's unbelievable concept. Okay, guys, once you have a huge database of customers, come to me and I will sign immediately. Which put us in a very tough situation, because if we don't have restaurants, we cannot bring customers who will buy, because they will buy what? They will eat what? So it was a little bit tough till we start to change our way of approaching the restaurants. And instead of just as any other application, we promise them with sales. No, we are focusing on the CSR part, which is helping back community. And also bringing new customers for you, and the customer will be loyal, because if you have two restaurants next to each other and you always go to restaurant number one, but you found all of a sudden restaurant number two is helping hunger by just serving you food, immediately you will at least try to go to the restaurant number two. So since that time, everything changed, and we start to have hundreds of restaurants. For the customers, we have it's only about, I cannot say any customer who don't like it, but it's only about changing the daily habits of using the other apps, and also of being lazy to open my app and use the app. So it's changing the behavior of our daily lives. So it's a little bit taking time, but the feedback is really awesome. Like one of our customers, it was shocking for me. He is buying every single day the same meal. So out of curiosity, I contacted him, at least to thank him. Okay, and then I found that he never eats outside his house. But when he heard about the concept of nafsi, so every day he's cooking the food, he will remember that there is another person who is hungry and he's dying because of no access to food. So why don't I will buy another meal from nafsi and I will give it to someone else? And he never ever eats outside.
Amazing. What types of job roles exist at NEFSI? Just to give our members an idea of the types of roles that they can be educating their students about.
Digital media, social media, marketing, writing blogs, like Eric spoke about, and also writing articles, making videos on online on TikTok or YouTube, also creatives, telesales, business analysts. I think that's the fields or the jobs which can fit to the students.
And of course, there's behind the scenes sales, development, you know, business development, really being, you know, there's those behind the scenes jobs that you do as well. And then of course, on the ground, you've got connecting those restaurants. So there's a lot of customer relationships that you need to be building with your key restaurant holders. There's a lot of brainstorming in the office about, so there's so many job roles, aren't there, behind the scenes. And what we see is an app, but what's happening behind are all the same job roles that would exist in a physical entity and in an organization. Am I correct, Khaled?
Absolutely right.
Amazing. All right, so I'm going to now turn the platform for questions, and I'm going to switch off my camera just for a minute because I have to, my son's having a panic attack. So I'm going to turn the camera, the microphone over to you guys, and who would like to start with the Q&A?
Khaled, just wow, amazing. Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes, Eric, I'm here. Yes,
I love your story, and I love what this lesson is for how it can inform our practices. A lot of times as career practitioners, we are telling our students about what skills they need to develop, what knowledge they need to develop, and how they need to cultivate these qualities of resilience and grit. But what really, I think the main thrust of what you're doing and what I think is the most important lesson for them is you connect really with the mission of what it means to live and earn your living. And once you do that, my feeling is if you have a mission and you believe in what you're doing, that informs all the other things. Then the skills come, then the resilience come when you believe in what you're doing. And that can be, I think that's probably the most important lesson that a careers practitioner or anybody could give to a young person is, you know, believe in what you're doing and go for that, because you will find strength in that, right? My question is specifically, what are the desk interns doing at NEFSI? What roles are they doing, and how have they found ways to get involved with the organization?
Very good question. We just started, and actually, Dino is the main person who is handling this. So, if you don't mind, Dino, to answer this question.
Yes. So at the beginning, we're focusing on two areas. We're trying to get some help on market research part and overall marketing social media. But since some of the, for example, one of the platforms now we're focusing on is TikTok. Everyone is trying to get on TikTok, but pretty much no one is understanding it. So this is where for us it was much more interesting to have a young person who spend much more time. Actually, I installed TikTok only after Maria told me about TikTok, and I spent a few hours and still don't get how it works, but it works.
For the
So we got,
dinosaurs.
yep. So we got one student is focusing particularly on TikTok. Two students are focusing on the market research. So there are more questions which we're trying to get more information from the market to twist our marketing, to twist our message, our marketing strategy overall. And two of the students focusing on social media, trying to see what I cannot say other companies like NFC, because it's either NGOs who are focusing on charity, or there are for-profit food applications like best ideas from all of the sides and to define our marketing strategies.
Can I ask just one more follow-up question? I'm not entirely clear functionally. I understand that when a user orders a meal is provided to those in need. But I'm not clear how that works. Is that through a contribution from an organization that is sponsoring you, or from the restaurants themselves? They show a commitment. How does that work?
It's a little bit confusing, and when we start to launch the project, so lots of people was just okay, so you will not charge me the second meal? Of course, no. Okay, and then we'll check the app. Okay, but where is the cost of the second meal? Why you're not charging it? Still, no one believed that you can donate without donation. Look, let's make it a very simple way. There is if you open your phone, maybe you have a couple of delivery apps. So when you are ordering a meal for like 100 dirhams, they charge you the 100 dirhams for your food plus delivery, correct? Delivery is okay, extra income, but out of the 100, they charge back the restaurant 30 to sometimes can reach more than 60 or max 85%. So let's take the average of 30-40%. That 30 or 40%, we can change it to a meal to a hungry person. So what we are doing that, first of all, the restaurant is very happy, because whatever discount or commission we are getting from the restaurant, we are paying back or refunding back the restaurant with our commission to buy a new meal for the hungry. So actually, almost they don't lose anything. That's why they prefer to work with us. Distribution of the meals will be through Red Crescent Islamic Affairs in collaboration with Government of Dubai and Emirates Food Bank.
Okay, just a follow-up question, very clear. So then how does Nefsi eat then? I understand that the commission that would normally go to the food app goes to the hungry person. So how does Nefsi get its bottom line?
Dino was talking to me the other day and telling me you're trying to feed the world by starving ourselves. Look, moving forward, there is many ways of having a small income to maintain our operations. So we are not in that stage yet, but we are focusing right now our main focus right now is to change the behavior of all of us, that we just eat and we can help someone every day. And also we need to achieve some targets of numbers for feeding people, which is more than what we achieved so far. And then moving forward and expanding to other countries, of course, we'll introduce a new business model, which is still keep the main idea that you eat and feed someone else at no extra cost, but we will add more features which can bring more income.
I imagine there will be so many non-for-profits and NGOs who'd be interested in sponsoring an app like this because it's so scalable and the impact can be huge. I would imagine that would be a way that Nefsi could get funding to do. I'm just commenting.
Yeah, no, that's great. Super great.
sorry to keep with the project questions. I just love this so much. I think it's really cool.
No, it's beautiful questions. It's very good questions. Thank you so much for that.
Does anybody else want to ask any questions about NEFSI or working with the students? Go ahead, Rowan.
Yeah, hi guys. Really, really interesting business concept. You know, I think what you're doing is very noble, and it's coming from the heart, which is even better. Where can I find all your dance videos on TikTok? So that'll be the first thing I'm looking for. No, but the second thing is, how did you find dealing with charities in Dubai? Because I know it's very tightly controlled, and obviously you've come up with an idea here. I mean, did you have contacts? Did you have support? Did the charities kind of do all that side of the paperwork for you? How did you deal with that issue?
You are absolutely right. Working with the government for anything related to charity or giving back to community, it was very difficult because it's very restricted. Okay, here they are. Of course, they love giving back, but they control it so well. So when we try to get approval for that, because there is no license, you can only get a permit for it. It was so confusing even for them because they have either fundraise or donation, but NEFSI is none of them. So they cannot have a new license or permit or new law for us because it's still confusing. Till I met someone in Red Crescent who told me, I'm really super busy because we are distributing something to hundreds waiting outside. So I just have 3 minutes with you. After 30 seconds exactly, he told me, look, this NEFSI concept is the best concept I ever heard. I will do whatever it takes to get it approved. And exactly in one month, he got it approved. But after we spent like almost 6 months talking with them. So yeah, it was a little bit confusing for them, but at the end, they approved, and we are not approved only by Red Crescent. It's Red Crescent, Fund of Emirates, ICAD, which is Islamic Affairs and Charitable Organization, as well as Government of Dubai, Food Bank. We even work with 10 million meals.
Brilliant. Are you guys operating this platform across the whole of the UAE, or just in Dubai?
We are focusing now on Dubai only.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Can I just say something? It's a fantastic idea, Khaled, and certainly we'll be looking out for it. And when we go to restaurants and all that, now that we'll be more aware of it. Going forward, what are your plans?
So?
Going forward, what are your plans going forward with NEFSI? Where do you see NEFSI in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time?
In 5 years, of course, we need to be at least in 30 countries, because we cannot feed the world from Dubai. Still, the population is so little. And by the way, hunger is not only in Africa, it's not only in India. US, UK, we have millions of hunger who really need food, and it really affects even like in US, more than 16 million kids below the age of 7 years cannot eat every day. So we are looking to expand in many countries, and our main target that every country have hunger, almost every country. So the hunger is really tough on every government to support, because it's exhausting their budgets, especially after COVID-19. The numbers are increasing and the economy is crashing. So it's what we want to achieve, that any hunger in any country, we can feed them without the government support, without individual support or donation, without corporate donation, because people are feeding each other without paying anything. So we will try to reach 30 countries, which is a very tough target. within the next 5 years. That's why Dean is now helping me in expanding a couple of countries. One of them is UK.
Fantastic.
Very amazing. Thank you, Khaled. Any other questions before we carry on? No.
Just want to thank
Yeah.
them for this great talk, Khaled and Dino. It's a great project, and you're really doing great job feeding the hunger around the world.
So what I decided to do, knowing that I don't carry the same weight at home that I do at desk, and I don't carry the same weight at home with my own children that I do in the community, and they are my biggest, they are my biggest challengers. So I knew it was going to be hard. They didn't buy into it immediately. And it was only after having real one-on-one conversations with them individually that they started to understand. So what I asked them to do was to use the summer to find something in the world that they believe needs to be different. And it could be anything. And then I asked them to look within their own lives this summer and make a small action or a couple of actions before the next academic year begins. And I enforced my ranking as mom to tell them that they have to do the project, because sometimes when you want people to buy in business, you ease them in, you show them rewards to help them buy in, and sometimes you need to pull ranking and tell them that buying in is not an option, but you would love for them to buy in naturally. So I called in the mom ranking, and what happened in the end was they started to realize that it isn't a big task. So my 10-year-old decided that he was going to clear his clutter, something that I've been telling him to do forever. And he was going to look at the UAE communities and find out where he can be donating different things. And then he was going to use his Instagram account to log it and try to encourage his followers to do the same. So that's his summer project. What I'm encouraging you to do is that when you have students coming in, because they come in to meet us to talk about their career aspirations, but we know that Khaled is living evidence. And we met another influencer this year in our, I think it was in our February meeting. We met Renos, who started Hands of Hope and the Seeds of Light in Zanzibar. And that was based on his life journey as well. So we know we've met individuals ourselves, not just people we've read about. We've actually met people that are thriving in their careers because they chose to do something that has a positive impact on the world. So when we have the youth coming into our offices, we are in a position to educate them around these causes and help them understand that they can make these a career. Now, what I'm not telling you is that every single student is going to be an entrepreneur. We need to be able to identify the differences between the two. So when we are encouraging the youth to think about the careers, why don't we also inspire them to do research on organizations that have a CSR program that they can connect with and they can be working towards, and they could be gaining experiences from? When we're encouraging them to do work experience, maybe we can be inspiring them to be researching those organizations that have a cause that is greater than the profit that they are trying to create in their organization. And I'm not saying that profit is not important. Of course, we need to be generating an income, but why can't we be looking at those organizations that have a cause like NEFSI? So my next question is, how can you inspire your youth to find the cause and make it their career? And then finally, our September topic. So before we walk into September, I want to bring this all together. You can tell that as a community, we're not just about what's in it for us. As a community, we're about how can we better our local community and eventually have a trickle effect on our global community. So how can we inspire the youth? I think it's starting at home first, by bringing in speakers like Khaled, by bringing in speakers like Renos, talking to our students, talking to our parents, bringing these experiences to our institutions. This is a way that we can start educating them on not-for-profit, because careers in not-for-profit are still careers and they're still income generating careers. So that brings our June public meeting to a close, and bringing us forward to September. I'm going to be bringing the topic, what is the new normal for careers education? There will be a guest speaker at our public meeting. Who that will be disclosed closer to our September date. But I want you to mark the calendars. It's going to be the 3rd Tuesday in September. And I believe that date, I'll tell you right now, that specific date, the 3rd Tuesday, hold on, my calendar, drum roll please. That will be the 15th of September at 9 a.m. And it will be on Zoom. Why will it be on Zoom? Because even if we are going back to a physical space, I still think that we should carry on doing public meetings this way. It means we don't need to be driving anywhere. Wadi's nodding. I can see him. He's like, finally, Wadi and Eric having to drive pretty far. And then after September, we can decide whether we keep public meetings this way, seeing what's happening in the world, or if we go back to a mix of having people zooming in and still having a couple of us in a physical presence. But that brings us to a wrap. Thank you so much for participating and for attending.